Check, check. Check, can, whoa. Hold on. That was what we call overexposure. Wow. Sun is blasting in the windows. Here in the First UMC media office, we've got these glass block windows up near the top of the wall here. And this time of the afternoon, this time of year, the sun just lasers right through them. The sun beats on this wall right over here, and about 3:30 in the afternoon, it gets hot in here. I mean, it heats up, and the thermostat's not in here. It's next door in the youth office, and so sometimes I have to run over there and make an adjustment, lest I bake. Anyway, welcome. Chris here. Got your Saturday night thingy. So tomorrow morning we're going to talk about the ninth commandment, and it's one that I've preached about actually at Fusion years ago, and so I'm going to lift some things out of that sermon. I'm not going to preach the whole sermon. Don't worry, I'll get you out of here sooner than that. But let's rip into it. If you're old enough, you may remember the name Richard Jewell. Richard Jewell was working as a security guard at Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta, Georgia during the 1996 Summer Olympic Games. And he noticed a suspicious backpack. And he alerted police about it. And then he helped them begin evacuating people from the area. Now, the backpack was, in fact, packed with explosives, which detonated before the evacuation was complete. So it was a very dangerous situation. Now, Richard Jewell was never formally charged with the crime of placing that backpack there, but he was investigated as a possible suspect. And the thing is, the media was, of course, following this. It was a big story. The media took the story and ran with it. And they dug into and broadcast Richard Jewell's personal business. They speculated on his motives. They questioned his character and pretty much destroyed his character in the worldwide 24-hour news cycle. Eventually, another man, Eric Rudolph, was convicted of the crime, but not before Richard Jewell's reputation was ruined. Basically for being there and doing exactly the job that he had been hired to do. So imagine being Mr. Jewell afterwards and trying to function in a society where nobody trusts you. Imagine trying to get a car loan. Imagine the awkwardness every time he's introduced to someone new and he sees that recognition in their eye of who they think he is. And you know, Richard Jewell got off lucky compared to thousands of people who have been falsely accused and actually gone to prison, right? Lost their freedom for crimes that they haven't committed. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. That's commandment number 9, and it's an important one. It's so important that God nailed it again in Leviticus 19:16. You shall not go around as a slanderer among your people. You shall not stand up against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. When God ends a statement with I am the Lord, you know he's not screwing around, right? You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. We are not to make false statements or share false statements about other people. It's a commandment to be truthful, not just to each other, but about each other. You know, if we take it apart a little bit, bearing false witness means to present as truth something that's not true. That's a fancy way of saying lying. And the second part of this is against your neighbor. And as in all other cases in the Bible where your neighbor is mentioned, If you start by asking who your neighbor is, you've already missed the point, right? When we're talking about bearing false witness, we're talking about misrepresenting the character of another person. And we're usually talking about misrepresenting on the negative side rather than the positive side. We generally don't have a problem saying too many nice things about each other, do we? On a personal level, lives have been ruined through malicious rumors and false accusations. And on a larger level, atrocities have been facilitated on the backs of this broken commandment. Think of Germany in the 1930s and the 1940s. Think of Rwanda in 1994, right? And many other times throughout history. Smear campaigns have been launched against religious and ethnic groups that have resulted in death tolls in millions of innocent lives. In the American South, in the 20th century, a white power base, which was willing to believe the worst about their black neighbors, they'd turn a blind eye to injustice. And all it would take is an offhand comment, true or not, and another cross would burn. You know, this is so easy to do. A lie about someone, when you hear it once, it's just gossip. But you hear it a second time, and now it's public opinion, right? And it becomes very, very difficult to ever set the record straight. When we consider how important our character is to our own identity and to our ability to function as a community, to assassinate someone else's character through false statements is probably darn close to a violation of another commandment that we talked about a couple weeks ago. Thou shalt not murder. This is serious stuff. Bearing false witness in a court of law is called perjury. It's a crime. You can go to prison for it, and you should, right? Bearing false witness is a bullying tactic, and we know how tragic that can be as victims eventually lash out or act out. So look, most of us don't need any help from other people wrecking our reputations. A great reputation as a person of high character is something that takes time and effort to build, right? And it takes even more time and effort to have to rebuild it. Nobody needs a hassle in their life, right? Don't create hassles for someone else by saying stuff about them that isn't true. Think of that as you're speaking about people and speaking to people, and especially think about it when you're doing the social media thing. Before you hit that share button, or before you comment, before you open your big fat mouth, be sure it's true. All right, anyway, enough of my preaching. Let's hear what Pastor Scott has to say about this tomorrow. So I will see you on the live stream. It's a fun Sunday. We weren't able to record with the band this week because of a health situation. Everybody's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about now. But there was concern, so we weren't able to record on Tuesday night. But we found a pretty cool recording from last year of the band performing a good song. So we'll have that at 10 o'clock. Hey, at both services, we're also going to give you a sneak peek at our next preaching and teaching series, which will begin August 23rd. I'm not going to spoil it for you right here, but you'll have to tune in and see our little promo video that we put together this week. So anyway, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, either right here in person or on the live stream. And until then, I hope you have a great Saturday night. Good night.